Welcome to Quickie Tech. Let's get started. Lesson 2. Create and manage worksheets and workbooks. Lesson 2. Create and manage worksheets and workbooks. Learning objectives. In Lesson 1, we learned how to start Microsoft Excel and work within the environment. In this lesson, we'll take things even further. You will learn how to create worksheets and workbooks, navigate through them, format worksheets and workbooks, customize options and views, and configure them to print or save. Create worksheets and workbooks. Creating new blank workbooks. Microsoft Excel files are called workbooks. When you want to start a new project in Excel, the first thing you need to do is to create a new workbook. To create a new workbook, you will need to either use a blank workbook or a template. To create a blank workbook, follow these steps. 1. Click on File. This will lead you to the Backstage view shown in this figure. 2. Click on New. Then, click on Blank Workbook, as shown in Figure 2.1 below. 3. A new blank workbook will be displayed. Here, we will create a sample file we will work with throughout this tutorial. We will use a blank template for it. We will name it Personal Expense. Creating a new workbook using templates. An Excel workbook template is a pre-designed spreadsheet you can use to create a new workbook. It contains custom formatting and predefined formulas. This will save you a lot of time and energy when creating a new project. Here's a step-by-step process of creating new workbooks using a template. 1. Click the File tab to get to the Backstage view, as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. Click on New, and then select the list of templates displayed, as shown in the figure on your screen. 3. Click on a template to check it out. You will see a preview of templates with more information on how to use them, as shown in the figure on your screen. 4. Click on Create to use the selected template. Note, you can use the search bar or the category to find specific templates for your project as shown here. Importing files into Microsoft Excel 2013. Microsoft Excel allows you to open a text file you created using other programs such as Notepad, Microsoft Word, etc. Opening a text file in Excel will not change its format. Before you start the process, I want you to, first of all, create a document in your Notepad program and name it Personal Expense Details. Type in the following details on the page. When you're done, it should look like the figure that's on your screen. Save the file. Next, we will be importing it into Microsoft Excel. To do that, take the following steps. 1. Click on File and then click Open. Pick the location of the file you just saved. 2. Once you click on that file location, the Open File dialog box will open and allow you to choose the file. 3. Select the file name and click Open as shown in the figure on your screen. 4. It will take you to the Excel workbook and show you the text import wizard as seen on this image. It contains 3 steps for you to follow to open your text file in Excel. Step 1. The first step is to click on the Delimited tab button. The Delimited option will help you separate your data according to commas or tabs as used in the Text tab. Click on Next. The delimiter is tabbed, meaning you space each heading using the Tab button on your keyboard. Here, you will specify that the wizard should make each tab a column. Once you do that, you will see the data separate into the columns. Click on Next to continue the process. Step 3. In the third step, you'll be specifying the data format for each of the columns. So, click on the Data column in the Data Preview window above and click on the Data button under the column data format. Click on the Next column and click on Text under the column data format. Do the same for the remaining 2 columns, Amount and Note. Make them texts. When you're finished, it should look like this figure. Click on Finish to end the importing process. At the end of the process, Opening non-native files directly into Excel. Microsoft Excel can open many different types of files automatically because of its built-in file filtering system. When you attempt to open a non-native file in Excel, it converts the file into an Excel format that it can understand. To open a non-native file in Excel, follow the steps below. 1. Click on the File tab. 2. Click Open. 3. Choose the location where the non-native file is stored and search for it. 4. Change the file type to All Files or the ***. 5. Pick the non-native file. 6. Click Open. Adding worksheets to existing workbooks. An Excel workbook contains about 3 worksheets by default. When working on a large project, you can create more worksheets to help you arrange your project properly. This will help you to easily find content in your workbook. Using our sample file, click on the plus button to add 1 sheet. Click twice to add 2 sheets, and so on. Figure 2.14 shows the additional 2 sheets. Copying and moving worksheets. There are times you will need to duplicate the content of one worksheet to another. Microsoft Excel allows you to do this by copying existing worksheets to another worksheet or workbooks. Using our sample file, Personal Expense Details, we will copy the Personal Expense Data tab to a new worksheet. Follow along with the highlighted steps. 1. Right-click the worksheet you want to copy. As soon as you do that, an option box will appear. Click on Move or Copy. In this case, we right-click on the Personal Expense Details tab. 2. The Move or Copy dialog box will appear. Now, select where the sheet will appear in the Before Sheet field. In our example, we chose Move to End to relocate the worksheet to the end of the sheet while still keeping the original file intact. 3. Check the box to close Create a Copy. Then, select OK. 4. The worksheet will be copied. However, the file name will change. In our sample, we copied the Personal Expense Details file, and the copied worksheet is named Personal Expense Details. 2. The files have the same content. Figure 2.17 shows the copied sheet. To move a worksheet. As you work in Excel, you may need to move your worksheet to arrange it properly within your project. We will still use our sample file here. We will attempt to move the project expense file 2 next to the original file. Follow along with the highlighted steps. 1. Click on the worksheet you want to move. In this case, we will click on Project Expense File 2. Hold down the mouse and drag. You will see a small paper icon and a small black arrow appear above where you want to place it. This slide shows the movement of the worksheet to the right location. 2. Release the mouse and the worksheet will appear in its new position. Navigate through worksheets and workbooks. Search for data within a workbook. You can search for specific data within your worksheets, rows, columns, or even workbooks, especially if you have a large worksheet or workbook. For example, let's search for candy in our Personal Expense Details worksheet. To do that, follow these steps. 1. Click on any cell in the worksheet. 2. Click on the Home tab and then click the small arrow beneath Find and select. 3. Click on Find. The Find dialog box will appear. 4. Type in the data or text you're looking for in the field Find What and click on Find All. 5. It will return the result showing you the location of the data or text as seen in the figure on your screen. Inserting hyperlinks. Microsoft Excel allows you to use a hyperlink to link other related information to another file or web page. When users click on the hyperlink, it opens the destination. Hyperlinks can help you to navigate a file or network, web page, email message, etc. Below is a step-by-step process on inserting hyperlinks into your document on Excel. You can create a hyperlink to a web page or a file on your computer. You can also link to another place in your workbook. Below is the step-by-step process. Remember, we are still working on our file, Personal Expense Details. How to create a hyperlink to a web page. 1. Click the cell you want to link to a web page. Here, we will link the cell containing electricity to the electricity company's website. 2. Click on Insert, and then click Hyperlinks. 3. The Insert dialog box will appear. On this box, you can click on the Current folder to select files to link, Current browser pages to select internet addresses to link, or Recent files to select files to link to. If you want to link to a new address, then type that address in the bar provided and click OK. 4. The Word is now linked to the internet address provided. Changing worksheet order. This is the same thing as moving worksheets. Follow the instructions under Moving Worksheets if you would like to change the worksheet's order. Using GoTo. The Excel GoTo feature helps you quickly move from one point to another point on your worksheet. This is helpful when you're working with a large project. Instead of searching for the text or data, you simply enter the cell reference number and it takes you there. Below are the steps you need to take in order to use this feature. 1. Click on the Home tab. Click Find and Select. 2. Click Go To as shown in Figure 2.26. 3. In the Go To dialog box, as shown in Figure 2.27, type in the cell reference of the data you want to locate and click OK. 4. It will immediately take you to the data. Using the Name box. The Name box shows the reference of a cell on a worksheet. You can use the Name box to understand the address of a cell. Microsoft Excel creates a defined name for your cells. As you move around the cells on your worksheet, it shows you the current location of your cell. For example, Figure 2.18 shows that the current cell where the cursor is C4, which is in the name box. It is calculated using the column and the row. You can see that the cursor is in column C, row 4, hence the name C4. Make sense? Format worksheets and workbooks. Changing worksheet tab color. You can add a touch of color to your worksheets to make it look beautiful, organized, and easy to navigate. To add color to the worksheet tab on our sample file, we will do the following. 1. Right-click on the Worksheet tab and click on Tab Color. 2. A menu will appear. Click on the preferred color. You will see a live preview of the new worksheet as you move from one color to the other. 3. The color will be affected on the worksheet. To see it clearly, click on another worksheet and it will be live. Modifying page setup. The page setup command allows you to control the way your content will look on printed paper. It includes the page orientation and the margin size. Page orientation. There are two types of page orientation, the landscape and the portrait. The landscape orientation causes the page to look horizontal, while the portrait will make it look vertical. If you are working on a worksheet with lots of rows, you will need to use the portrait orientation. And if you're working on a worksheet that contains a lot of columns, the landscape orientation may be more suitable. To change your page orientation, 1. Click on Page Layout. 2. Click on Orientation. 3. Choose the portrait or landscape from the options provided. 4. The worksheet will change accordingly, as shown in the figure on your screen. To format the page margins. A margin is referred to as the space between your content and the edge of the page. As you work on your worksheet, you may need to adjust the margins to provide space for more data or text on the page. Excel has 3 different margin sizes for your use: normal, wide, and narrow. Follow the steps below to change your page margin settings. 1. Click on Page Layout and then select Margins. 2. Choose any margin size you want. Using our example file, Personal Expense Details, we will choose the narrow to fit our content to the page. 3. The page margins will change to the new settings. Alternatively, if you're not satisfied with any of the 3 margin options provided, You can click on Custom Margins at the bottom of the page. When you do that, the Page Setup dialog box appears and you can set the margins to anything you wish. Inserting and deleting columns and rows. Inserting columns. 1. Select the column heading to the right where you want to insert the new column. Using our sample file, we will insert a new column between the name and the amount columns. So we will select the amount column as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. Click on the Home tab and click on Insert. 3. Click on Insert Sheet Columns as shown in the figure on your screen. 4. The new column will appear to the left of the column you selected. Deleting columns. 1. Select the column you wish to delete. In our example, we will select column C, the one we just inserted. 2. Click on the Home tab and then Delete Columns. 3. The selected column will be deleted and the other columns will be adjusted accordingly. To insert rows. 1. Select the row heading below where you want the new row to appear. Using our sample file, we will insert a row between rows 3 and 4. So select row 4 as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. Click on the Home tab and click on Insert as shown in the figure on your screen. Select Insert Sheet Rows. 3. A new row will show up above the row you just selected. Deleting rows. 1. Select the row or rows that you would like to delete. Using our sample file, we will select the newly inserted row. 2. Click the Home tab and click on Delete. 3. Click on Delete Sheet Rows. 4. The selected rows will be deleted. Changing workbook themes. Workbook themes are colors, fonts, and effects that you can apply to your workbooks. Excel has pre-designed themes you can choose from. Using our sample file, we will change the theme for the workbook by following the steps below. 1. Under the File tab, click on Themes. 2. Select any theme of your choice, as shown in the figure on your screen. 3. Change the colors to the combination you want, as shown in the figure on your screen. 4. Change the font to any you like, as shown in the figure on your screen. 5. Choose any effects you like, as shown in figure 2.49. You can save your current theme by clicking Save Current Theme at the bottom of the gallery. Adjusting row height and column width. Excel has a default row height and column width. However, you can adjust these to fit your taste. Adjusting the column width. Using our sample file, we will adjust the name column because some of the text is hidden. To adjust the column width, follow these steps. 1. Position the mouse over column line in the column heading. As you do that, you will see a double arrow appear, as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. Hold and drag the mouse to increase or decrease the column width as you wish, as shown in the figure on your screen. 3. Release the mouse when you are done. The width will be adjusted as shown in figure 2.52. Sometimes, if the column is not wide enough, you will notice pound signs where your data should be in the cell. To remove it, adjust the size of the cell and the data will reappear. To adjust the row height. 1. Position the cursor over the row line until you see the plus sign as shown on your screen. 2. Hold and drag the mouse to increase or decrease the height as you wish. 3. Release the mouse and you will see that the selected row height has changed, as seen in the slide on your screen. Inserting watermarks. Microsoft Excel allows you to add watermarks to workbooks. Using our sample file, we will add a watermark to the worksheet. The process is outlined as follows. 1. Click on the Insert tab. 2. Click Header and Footer, as seen in the slide on your screen. 3. The Header and Footer Design Tools open. You can insert a picture, logo, or text. To insert a picture, click Picture in the header and footer element section, as shown in the figure on your screen. We will be inserting a picture as a watermark into the sample file. 4. When you click on Pictures, the Insert Picture dialog box appears. Select the location where the image will be. You can even insert pictures from the internet. The picture we will insert is on the computer, so we click on From a File, and then Browse, pick the picture, and click on Insert. This figure shows you the From a File option. 5. After clicking the Insert button, you will see this symbol appear. Ampersand, bracket, picture, close bracket, as you can see in this figure. 6. To see the picture appear as a watermark, click on any cell outside the header, and you will see the picture show up behind the text in your file, as you can see in this figure. 7. You can make the picture fade by opening the header and footer dialog box. Click Format Picture in the Headers and Footers Elements section, as shown in the figure on your screen. 8. The Format Picture dialog box appears. Click on Automatic, and you will see 3 options you can choose from, i.e. Grayscale, Black and White, and Washout. Click the Picture tab and choose Washout from the drop-down list, and click on OK, as shown in the figure on your screen. 9. The picture will become faded behind the text, as you can see in this figure. 10. To use text as a watermark, design the text with your favorite picture tools, such as Microsoft Paint or Canva. Save the file and follow the process above to insert it from a picture. Inserting headers and footers. Headers and footers make it easy for you to read your workbook. The header will show up at the top of the page, while the footer will appear at the bottom of the page. It includes date, page number, workbook name, and other important information that you will add to it. Using our sample file, we will be inserting headers and footers into the workbook by following this process. 1. Click Insert on the menu bar. 2. Click Header and Footer, as you can see in this figure. 3. Type in your header, as shown here. 4. To add the footer, click on the Go to Footer command under the Header and Footer tools, as shown in the figure on your screen. 5. When you click on Go to Footer, the footer box appears, as shown in the figure on your screen. You can now type in text, page numbers, or whatever information you want. Click on any part of the page when you are done. Setting data validation. Data validation is a process of setting controls for what a user can place into a cell. It allows you to create a drop-down list of possible options for your user. In our sample file, we will add a sheet and name it Expense Options, as shown in this figure. We will add additional expense options for other users. In the worksheet, type the following details. Then, we will follow the steps below to create a data validation for the worksheet. The first thing we need to do is name the cell for data validation. To do that, follow this process. 1. Select the cell range you want to name. In this case, we select the cell range B3 to B9 on the Expense Option worksheet, as shown in this figure. 2. Click on the Formulas tab. Then, click Define Name as it is shown here. 3. A dialog box will show up. Type in a name for the cell range. Using our sample file, we will call it Expense Range. 4. Click on OK and the cell range will be named. The next step is to create a data validation drop-down list. To do that, follow these steps. 1. Choose the cell where you want the drop-down list to appear. Here, we will add another row to our sample file and then type in Other Expenses. We will select that row, for example, B7 on the Personal Expense Details tab as shown in Figure 2.72. 2. Click on the Data tab in the menu bar and click on Data Validation as shown in the slide on your screen. 3. The Data Validation dialog box appears as shown in this figure. In the Allow field, click on List. 4. The source box will appear. In the source field, type the equal sign and the name of your range. In our example, we will type in the name range we used earlier. For example, equal expense range. And then click OK, as shown in this figure. 5. A drop-down arrow will appear next to the cell selected, as shown in the figure on your screen. Click on the arrow and pick the right option. Customize options and views for worksheets and workbooks. Hiding worksheets. You can choose to hide your worksheets in a workbook to prevent other people from viewing it. Any data you hide is not visible, but other workbooks can reference it. You are free to show hidden worksheets whenever you want. We will hide the Personal Expense Details worksheet in our sample file. The process is as follows. 1. Select the worksheet you want to hide. In this case, we will select the Personal Expense Details Worksheet tab, as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. Click on the Home tab on the menu bar and click the arrow beside Format, as shown in this figure. 3. A drop-down list will appear. Under Visibility, click on Hide and Unhide, and then click on Hide Sheet, as shown in the figure on your screen. Hide columns and rows. Apart from hiding your worksheet, you can also hide your columns and rows. Using our sample file, let's hide the Amount tab so that no one will see how much you're spending. To do that, follow these steps. 1. Select the column you want to hide. We will select the Amount column as shown here. 2. Go to the Home tab and click on Format. 3. Under Visibility, select Hide and Unhide, as shown in this figure. 4. Select Hide Columns. A green line will appear showing you there's a hidden column there. Hide rows. Just like you hide columns, you can also hide rows in the workbook. Here, we will hide the Diary Product row. Follow these steps to do that. 1. Select the row you want to hide. We will select the Dairy Product row, as shown in this figure. 2. Go to the Home tab and click on Format. 3. Under Visibility, select Hide and Unhide. Then, select Hide Rows. Customizing the Quick Access toolbar. The Quick Access toolbar can be customized to include more options. For instance, you can add options from any toolbar to the Quick Access toolbar. We will now walk through step-by-step procedures for customizing the Quick Access toolbar to suit your needs. 1. Click the Customize Access Toolbar button at the bottom of the Quick Access toolbar, as shown here. 2. Click the Show Below the Ribbon option. 3. Click on the Customize Quick Access Toolbar button one more time, and then click on More Commands. 4. The Excel Options dialog box appears. On the Choose Commands From section, click the Popular Commands List dropdown and choose any of the options you want. In this case, we'll select the Insert tab, as shown here. 5. The Insert tab option will appear here. You can now choose which option or options you'd like to add to your toolbar from the list. You will select them one by one, clicking the Add button to add them to the toolbar. In Figure 2.9, we have added the Browse Office Store option. 6. When you are done, click OK. You will see the option added to your Quick Access toolbar. Customizing the ribbon. You can customize the ribbon by adding your own tabs with the commands you want. Commands are found in the group. Therefore, you will need to create groups to store your commands. To customize your ribbon, follow these steps. 1. Right-click on the ribbon and click on Customize the ribbon from the drop-down menu as shown on this slide. 2. The Excel Options dialog box will open up. Click on New tab. 3. Choose the command under the Customize the Ribbon section and click Add. In this case, we selected the Cut option and added it to the new group shown by the arrows in this figure. 4. Click OK and the new tab will be created. To change the macro security settings, 1. Click on the Developers tab and click on Macro Security. If you don't have it on your menu, click the Quick Access toolbar to access the Customize Access toolbar and add the Developers tab shown in the figure on your screen. 2. When you click on the Customize Access toolbar, the Excel Options toolbar opens up. Click on Popular Commands, and you will see a drop-down menu of all the commands and tabs. Click on Developer tab and click on the Add button. 3. The Developer tab opens. Click on Macro Security and click on Add. Then, click OK. 4. It will take you back to the Excel screen where you see the macro security on the toolbar. Double-click on the icon and it will bring up the Trust Center dialog box. Here, you can make any of the changes you want. When done, click OK. Changing workbook views. Microsoft Excel has different viewing options that can alter the look of your workbook. You can view your workbook in Normal View, Page Layout View, or Page Break View. The Views feature will help you see how the workbook can be displayed before you print it. To use different views, do the following. 1. Click on View in the menu bar. You will see the workbook views, i.e. Normal, Page Break, Page Layout, and Custom Views as shown in Figure 2.97. Recording simple macros. Microsoft Excel allows you to record a macro for repetitive tasks so that it will be easy to repeat them in the future with just one click. The macro records all the steps needed to complete the task you want your macro to perform. You can find the commands for recording a macro on the Developer tab on the ribbon. Remember, we just created the Macro Security tab in the last lesson. We will be using it in this lesson. Now, here are the steps to record a macro. 1. Double-click the Macro Security on the Quick Access toolbar as shown here. The Trust Center dialog box appears. 2. Click on Enable All Macros and then click OK. You will need to come back here and disable it after you've finished using it to prevent dangerous code from running. Figure 2.99 shows the macro settings. 3. Go back to the screen and add another option to the Quick Access toolbar. Code. You will add it in exactly the same way we did in the To Change Macro Security settings. 4. Click on the Code icon and click on Record Macro as shown on this slide. 5. The Macro Box dialog box appears as shown on the screen. Type in a name for the macro. The first character must be a letter. Do not add spaces or an underscore. 6. You can assign a control combination shortcut key to run the macro. Type in any key you want to use the shortcut key box. 7. Select the workbook where you want to store the macro in the Store Macro list. 8. Type a description of the macro under the description box and click OK to start recording. 9. Carry out the actions you want to record, and when you are done, click on the code icon again and click on Stop Recording. Adding values to workbook properties. Workbook properties help you to add information about your workbooks. You can add information like author, title, or tag the workbook. Or tag the workbook so it will be easy to find. We will be adding this information to our sample file. Personal expense details. Now, let's go through the steps for doing it. 1. Click on File and then select Info as shown here. 2. The properties of the document are displayed on the right. 3. Click on Properties. There are two options there. Click on the first one, Show Document Panel, as shown here. You can edit the properties here. 4. It takes you to a panel for editing, as seen here on the slide. 5. Click on View Properties. 6. A dialog box appears where you can fill in personal details as shown in Figure 2.106, and click OK. Using Zoom. Microsoft Excel has a feature called Zoom. It allows you to either enlarge or reduce the size of your screen. Below is how you can use the Zoom feature. 1. Click on the View button of the menu bar. 2. Click on the Zoom button as seen here on the slide. The Zoom dialog box comes as shown here. You can select the zoom percentage that suits your needs, or enter a custom zoom percentage in the box provided. 3. Under the View button, you can also select which part of the worksheet you want to view by clicking on Zoom to Selection, as shown here on your screen. Displaying formulas. Microsoft Excel allows you to display your formulas as you work on your worksheet. This is necessary if you are working on a worksheet with lots of formulas. It helps to keep track of the formulas you are using in the worksheet. To demonstrate this, we will need to add formulas to our sample file. I added 2 more columns to the worksheet, the Income and Balance column, and I typed in the income for each month. We will be using a formula to calculate the balance for the month after all expenses. The formula will be column D minus column C. This will give us the balance. For transportation, it will be D2 minus C2. For haircut, it will be D3 minus C3, etc. You will type in the formula for each row as shown in the figure on your screen. When you are done, you will have the balance in each row. You will notice that the formula is not shown. You can see the formula by using the following steps. 1. Click on the Formulas tab. Then, click on Show Formulas as shown in the figure on your screen. 2. The formulas will be displayed. Freezing panes. The Freezing Panes feature is a great tool that comes in handy when you're working with a worksheet containing lots of data. It makes it easier for you to see the content from different parts of your worksheets at the same time. Using our sample file, Personal Expense Details file, we will attempt to freeze some of the rows and columns. The process is outlined as follows. Step 1. Select the row below the rows you want to freeze. Using our sample file, we will freeze row 2 and 3. So we will select row 4. 2. Click on the View tab. 3. Click on Freeze Panes command. Then select Freeze Panes from the drop-down menu as shown on this slide. 4. The rows will be frozen in place as shown by the gray line. You can scroll through the worksheet all you like and still continue to see the rows that you froze at the top. As you can clearly see in this figure, I have scrolled down to 31 and I am still seeing the frozen rows. To freeze columns, use the following steps. 1. Using our sample file, we will freeze column D, which is the Income for the Month column. We will click on column E. 2. Click on the View tab. Click on Freeze Panes from the drop-down menu. 3. The columns will be frozen. You can now unfreeze the rows and columns by going back to the Freeze Panes command and clicking on Unfreeze Panes. Assigning shortcut keys. Microsoft Excel makes it easier for users to use the programs by providing useful keyboard shortcuts. It also allows you to create your own custom shortcuts. You can access the shortcuts by using the Alt key. Now, let's go over how to use this feature step by step. 1. Place your cursor on any of the icons in the Quick Access toolbar. You will notice at this point that a set of numbers appears. 2. To use any of the icons while on the worksheet, press the Alt key plus the number. For example, if you want to use the macro security icon, which is number 5, press Alt, and while holding it down, press 5. You can do the same for the other icons on the toolbar with their corresponding numbers. Splitting the window. When you're working with lots and lots of data, you may want to compare different parts of the same workbook without necessarily creating another window. The Split command helps you divide the worksheet into different panes that you can scroll through separately. The command is used by the following procedures. 1. Choose the cell you want to split in the worksheet. In our sample file, we'll select cell C5. 2. Click the View tab, then choose the Split command as shown on this screen. 3. The worksheet will instantly split into different panes. You can scroll through each of the panes one by one using the scroll bars, making it easy for you to compare different parts of the worksheet. Configure worksheets and workbooks to print or save. Setting a print area. If you have a large worksheet filled with data, you can choose to print any part you want. You can set the print area by selecting the range of cells you want to print. Let's set up a print area for our sample file. Step 1. Select the cells you want as the print area. 2. Click the Page Layout tab, and then click on Print Area. Then click Set Print Area. For our sample file, we will select all the data in the worksheet and follow the process as mentioned before. Saving workbooks in alternate file formats. Microsoft Excel saves files as XLSX. However, you can save different file formats, such as a text file, PDF, or XPS file. Using our sample file, let's attempt to save it as a PDF. Here are the procedures we need to use. 1. Click the File tab and click Save As. 2. Choose the place where you want to save the document. We will save it in the Computer and Document section. 3. In the Save As dialog box, select the file type under Save As type box. Here, you can choose the type of format to save your file. In this case, we will select PDF format. When you're ready, click Save, and you're all done. Printing individual worksheets. A workbook consists of different worksheets. You can print any worksheet you want rather than printing the whole workbook. For instance, using our sample file, let's say you have a personal expense detail sheet for the past 4 years. You have a worksheet set up for each year for 4 consecutive years. If you want to print the current worksheet you're working on, you can do that instead of printing the entire workbook. So here, we will print out just one sheet by following this process. 1. Click on the worksheet you want to print. 2. Click the File tab and then click Print. 3. On the Settings section, click on Print Active Sheets. 4. Click on the Page Orientation section and then choose if you want the layout to be portrait or landscape. 5. Select the printer you want to use. 6. Click on Print. Setting print scaling. Microsoft Excel allows users to scale to fit. This does not mean that you will shrink the content so that it fits onto one page. It means you can enlarge or shrink. You can make it look smaller or bigger on the page as you see fit. Here, let's make our sample file look bigger on paper. To do this, follow these steps. 1. Click on the File tab and click on Print. 2. At the bottom of the screen is the Scale to Fit option. Excel sets it to no scaling by default, as shown in this figure. 3. Click on the arrow close to No Scaling, and you will see a drop-down box with 5 options. No Scaling, Fit Sheet on one page, Fit all columns to one page, Fit one row on one page, and Custom Scaling. 4. Here, we will add more columns to the document so we can fit it to one page. We added 4 more columns to make it easy to demonstrate in this exercise. 5. Click on the File tab and go back to the Print command. Before you go to the Scaling option, check out the view of the document on the left pane. If you look closely at the image, it cuts off 3 columns. That means if you print the document as is, 3 columns will be missing. Therefore, we need to scale to make all the data show up. So click on the No Scaling arrow and click on Fit Sheet to one page. You will now see all the columns and rows fitting onto one page. Repeating headers and footers. When you insert headers and footers into your worksheet, it automatically repeats itself on every page of the sheet. Maintaining backward compatibility. Excel allows you to save your workbook using different versions of the application. For example, our sample file was created using Excel 2013, but you can send the file to someone who has an older version of Excel. The process is outlined here. 1. click on the File tab and then click Export. 2. Click on Save As. 3. Click the location where you want to save the file. 4. Select the version of Excel you want to save in the format from the Save As type box. For example, we'll save this file as Excel 97 through 2003. 5. Click Save. Configuring workbooks to print. To print your workbook, follow these steps. 1. Click the File tab, then click Print. 2. Under the Settings section, click on Print Entire Workbook from the Print Range drop-down menu. 3. Click Print. Saving files to remote locations. You can save your workbook to a network folder or a web server. Let's go through the process step by step. To save remotely to a network folder, 1. Click the File tab, then click Save As. 2. Click on My Computer and search for the folder. 3. Type the name of the document and click on Save. To save a document remotely or on a web server, 1. Click on the File tab and then click on Save As. 2. If you are saving the document on a file transfer protocol or FTP that's already configured, click the FTP locations in the Save In list and then double-click the FTP location. And 3. Click Save. What you have learned. In this lesson, you have learned how to create and manage worksheets and workbooks. Now you are ready to start your project for this tutorial. Quiz. 1. Create a new workbook using a template and name it Employee Records. A. Type the name of the employees in Notepad and import the file into Microsoft Excel 2013. B. Add 2 worksheets to the new workbook. C. Move the 2 new worksheets to the beginning of the tab. 2. Use the Find and Replace command to search for an employee's name in your Employee Records workbook. A. Create a hyperlink to a web page on your worksheet. B. Use the Go To feature to locate a cell on your worksheet. C. What is a name box? 3. Apply different colors to your worksheet tabs. A. Change your page setup to landscape. B. Adjust the page margins of your worksheet to wide. C. Enumerate the process to insert and delete rows and columns from a worksheet. D. Change your workbook theme to Ion. E. How will you change the font of your Employee Records worksheet? F. Apply theme effects to your Employee Records workbook theme. G. Adjust the row height and column width of your Employee Records workbook. H. Insert a watermark on your worksheet. I. How will you insert headers and footers on your worksheet? J. Set the data validation for your Employee Records worksheet. 4. Go through the steps you will take to hide your worksheet, columns, and rows. A. Add more options to your Quick Access toolbar. B. Customize your ribbons with more commands. C. What are the steps you will take to change the macro security settings? D. Change the worksheet view of your workbook to Page Break Preview. E. Record a macro for deleting rows. F. Add your personal details to the Employee Records workbook properties. G. In your Employee Records workbook, type in the remuneration of the employee, such as the salary, commissions, and bonus amounts. Add the 3 columns together to create a balance for each employee in your record. Configure the balance column to show the formulas. H. Freeze the first 2 panels of the Employee Records. I. Assign shortcut keys to the Quick Access toolbar command. J. Enumerate the steps involved in splitting windows. 5. Set a print area for the Employee Records workbook. A. Save the document as a PDF. B. Print out the Employee Records worksheet. C. Scale your worksheet to fit a page. D. Save your workbook in the Excel 97 through 2003 version. E. Save the workbook to a remote location on a web server.